It's Amber from One Solitary Witch, and today I am gonna do like a little vlog here. I asked some of you, I think it was last week, if you have any questions that you wanted me to answer, like a get to know me or any questions about the craft that you might have had, and I would answer them on a video blog. So I really appreciate all of you that submitted questions, and I'm gonna do my best to give you an answer here today. And I try to kind of group them because I had some very similar questions for some of these, so I try to like group them together here. And I'll just jump right into it, okay? So my name is Amber. I'm a witch. Hey. My favorite color is blue. I love cats. No, I'm an Aquarius. Okay, so probably the most common question I have is, and I had to write like little notes down because you guys, my memory is absolutely terrible. Okay, so a lot of these have to do along the same lines here. And a lot of people wanted to know, how did I start this journey? When did I discover I was a witch? How old was I when I first discovered I was a witch? How I began, did I have any help? Stuff like that. Has anyone been helping me? Wait, I already said that one. Okay, we'll have to do a lot of editing on this video. Okay, you guys, FYI, I do not like being on camera and I get a little nervous. So yeah, okay, here we go. So basically as a child, I was always kind of like different compared to the rest of my family. I'm the oldest of 5 children and the only girl. And my family are kind of wannabe Catholics. And I say that like not to knock the Catholic religion, but only because they claim to be Catholics, but they've never read the Bible. They've never gone to church except for an occasional holiday here and there or a funeral, you know, whatnot. So that's why I kind of say wannabe Catholics. And from the very beginning, I always knew like, you know, that wasn't for me. I didn't really vibe well with a lot of the beliefs and a lot of the things that I was told as a child. A couple things that I remember very clearly is my mother telling me that animals don't have souls and that animals don't go to heaven. And I was like maybe, I don't know, 4 years old, you guys. And I remember thinking, no, that's not right. How can I believe something like that? This isn't for me. You know, I knew like, well, yes, of course animals, they have a soul. And of course they're there on the other side. I mean, how terrible would it be if, you know, animals and our pets weren't there for us when we cross over? So that was one little thing that, you know, kind of started me thinking like, you know, this organized religion thing isn't really for me. Another thing that I remember is being told that there's no such thing as reincarnation, that it's this one life, there's no past lives, this is it. And from, again, really early on, I know I was under 5, I would have these reoccurring dreams of where I was being chased, hunted down, captured, and then my head being cut off, which I know is pretty gruesome, right? Especially for a young child. And I was never exposed to any type of violent imagery or anything like that. So I knew that I was remembering a past life and how I had died. It was so real, you guys. And still to this day, I get like goosebumps and the hair on the back of my neck stands up because I can feel the sensation. So that was another thing that kind of just set me along a different path, that I knew, you know, this the Catholic religion or any other organized religion just wasn't for me. And I've always been really connected with nature and animals and just kind of had a really different outlook on things growing up compared to the rest of my family. So as far as witchcraft, I mean, you know, I'm always that child out in nature, barefoot, collecting rocks, crystals, you know, you name it, from when I was really little. But I started practicing witchcraft when I was a teenager. And my mother found out, and because I had doodled a pentagram, and she saw it, and she flipped her lid, you know, oh my God, you're worshiping the devil. And when I tried to explain to her that no, I'm not, it's nothing like that at all. I'm not worshiping the devil. It's about nature and connecting to the universe and energies and whatnot. She didn't want to hear it, didn't want to listen. And so from then on out, I kept it a secret and I just kept my beliefs and my practice to myself. And that went on all through my 20s and through most of my 30s. And it probably wasn't until my late 30s that I really finally reached a point where I became really comfortable with who I was, and to a point to where I didn't care anymore what other people thought. And that's when I kind of came out of the broom closet, so to speak, and started being open about being a witch and sharing my experiences and my knowledge that I have with everyone. So that's basically kind of how I got started. Let me look at my little notes here to make sure that I answered everyone's questions that have to do with that. That's basically how I found my path and how I started my journey. And there was no really specific inspiration for it other than just my love for nature and just this whole other outlook on life, and especially life after death, and my whole outlook on that was very different compared to the rest of my family. I would often see spirits and stuff, here and there growing up at different places that we lived. We moved around a lot and whatnot, and I didn't have anyone to talk to about that. So there was really no one to share this with when I was younger at all. And you have to remember, okay, I'm 42 years old. So back when I was a kid, there was no internet, there was no nothing. So like information wasn't easily accessible like it is today. So it was just kind of figuring stuff out as I went type of thing. Okay, so I think I got that one. How I started, how old I was. Basically my whole life, and I didn't really start practicing, like I said, until I was a teenager. So like I said, I'm 42, you can do the math. And that has a lot to do with how long have I been practicing. Forever. Okay, so I'll move on to the next set of questions I have here. This one is, what kind of witch am I? And I'm not big on labels, but I do get asked this a lot. So if I did have to label myself, I would say I'm a solitary eclectic witch. I am a bit of an introvert. I kind of shy away from people in large crowds because I am also empathic. And I don't like dealing with all that energy. So the idea of being in a coven, not really for me. So I kind of stick to my solitary practice, and I pick and choose a lot from all different beliefs as far as from the craft. There's lots of different paths you can choose, and I just pick what works for me. And so that's what makes me eclectic. And hopefully you don't hear my Alexa in the background talking to me. So that's, if I was to label myself, that's what I would be. The next question, why did I choose my Nordic witchcraft path? So yes, I am eclectic, but I do follow heavily the Norse pantheon and do worship the Norse gods. And that's a very good question, yes. So why did I choose it? For a long time, I really didn't choose any particular pantheon, so to speak. I didn't really worship a specific deity of any kind. And I did one of those ancestry DNA things once, and it turns out that a lot of my ancestry is Scandinavian and Germanic, with a little bit of Irish in there, and a very 2% Italian, and that was basically it. So that was really fascinating towards me, and I just started naturally researching my heritage. So that kind of, helped me along that path. And it wasn't until I had a very specific dream that I really decided to make the decision to follow the Norse pantheon. And it was a dream. It was kind of a crazy dream. I'm not going to go into all the details, But basically, I had called upon the Norse gods to aid me, and then they answered me in this dream. So I knew from that point on that that was kind of the path that I was meant to follow, and I've been following that path ever since. Okay, what's the most evident manifestation of one of my spells? Okay, this was a hard one because I really had to think about it. Not that I haven't had a lot of evidence from my spells and my rituals working, because there is a lot of evidence and a lot of signs that they do, and that I am able to manifest things that I desire. But probably the one that sticks out the most was when I really started getting heavily into doing spell work. One of my brothers, like I said, I'm the oldest of 5, and one of my brothers is an addict, and he disappeared one day. Like, we didn't know what happened to him, and he has a little girl, my niece, and everyone was really concerned about him, naturally. So I did a knot spell working on manifesting that he returned and that he is safe, and that nothing bad had happened to him was basically the premise for this spell. And it was very successful. He showed up later that night. Yeah, I think I did the spell maybe, it was kind of late, 11 o'clock at night, and then, by the next morning, he had returned. So that was some pretty strong evidence as far as one of my spells working. There have been other times I was doing some pretty powerful spell work at the beach, which I love going to, and I love doing rituals at the beach. It is just amazing. And I've been going to this one spot at Bodega Bay for like 10 years. And I was doing this one spell, and when I was done, I looked up and 2 ravens flew overhead. And so if you know the Norse history and the pantheon, you know that Odin has the 2 ravens. And in 10 years, I had never seen a single raven at this beach, ever. Tons of other, birds and seagulls and whatnot, never a raven. And they followed me up and down the beach afterwards and chatted with me. I had a conversation with them. They had a lot to say. So just little things like that. There's little signs. If you just know where to look and you have your eyes open to the universe around you, you can definitely see the signs of your spells and your manifestations working. Now, sometimes, yes, the universe doesn't always answer us, and sometimes that can be very, very frustrating, right? Because you think, you're like, oh my God, I want this so bad. Let's just use a relationship as an example. I want this relationship to work so bad. Please, 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 please. And it doesn't work out. And you're like, what the hell? I've been trying to manifest this and putting all this energy into it. Well, that's because the universe had something else in mind. The universe has a bigger picture, so to speak. And the reason that relationship probably didn't work out is it was not meant for you. Something better is coming along. And it was a lesson that you had to learn and had to go through. So, okay, next question. Have you ever used your own blood in a ritual or spell? Yes, I have. It's not something that I do very often because it is a really powerful thing to use, because you're putting part of yourself, part of your soul, part of your, not really your soul, maybe part of your life force into the spell that you're working, right? So it's something not to take lightly when you do use it. I have used it a handful of times, and it's not something like you see in the movies, right? They take the anthemy and they slice their hand open and there's this blood flowing everywhere. No. It's just a little prick on your finger, and just a drop or 2 of blood is all it needs. I have used it before, and it was some pretty powerful shit, let me tell you. It truly was. And yeah, I'm not gonna go into details about what that was all about, but definitely have. If you do use your own blood, like I said, be careful. Always take safety precautions and make sure you cleanse your hands. You don't want any germs getting in there and stuff like that. And just think long and hard before you actually do use blood in a blood spell or a ritual, because it's pretty powerful. and not something I would really recommend for beginners out there. Okay, next question. Does my husband practice magic? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He does support me. We've definitely had a few rough patches over the years of him not being embarrassed by me, I guess I should say, like out in public when I'm doing my witchy thing and stuff like that. So that was a few hurdles we had to get over, you know, for him just to get more comfortable with me being out in public and doing, you know, my weird witchy stuff. It's not weird, but you know what I mean. And it is something we definitely worked on together to get past, because it was hurtful, because he always said he supported me, and then when I became more open in public about it, and he would get like a little embarrassed and stuff like that, which he is entitled to his feelings, you know, absolutely he is, and it was just something that we had to work through together as a couple, and we've definitely become stronger in the end and a lot closer, and nowadays he is actually taking more of an interest in witchcraft and in my beliefs, and is wanting to learn a little bit more, so there's that. Okay, the next question, do you have to have an altar? Absolutely not. You do not have to have an altar. You do not have to have crystals. You do not have to have a wand, tarot cards, anything. All those witchy tools are just like an extra bonus. You do not need any of that at all. Zip, zero, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Nope, you just need you. Just you and your intentions. That's all you need. Okay, do I have tattoos? Yes, I do have tattoos. I'll show you one here on my wrist. There's one. Oh, okay. There's one. It's hard to see probably. I'm not doing this very well. I'm like, here. Yes, I do have tattoos. And I would like more tattoos, but you know, they're expensive. Oh my gosh. Anyways. Okay, I answered that one. And the last question is, do I have any advice for people trying to navigate their way through this path? Probably, and I get asked this a lot, like what's my advice for people just starting out? And it's usually always the same. Research and read. Just gather as much knowledge as you can. Form your own conclusions. Don't let anyone tell you how you should be practicing your own craft. This is your craft, and it's unique and individual to you. There is no one way to do it. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. Don't let someone tell you otherwise. And you'll come across it. You will. Unfortunately, there are other people out there that insist that their way is the correct way, or you must be doing things this way, or follow this path, or you have to follow the threefold law, or no. You do you. You do you, and don't worry about what other people think or how they're doing it. You listen to your heart and your intuition. And like I said, I'm a big component of knowledge, of gathering knowledge, because knowledge is power. And the more you understand, even if it's, I am not Wiccan, okay? I'm just going to throw that out there. I am not Wiccan at all, but I have read about it. And so I wanted to research, you know, that particular path, because I just wanted to know. And through that, I figured out it's not for me. And that's okay. That's okay. It's, you know, some are into it and some aren't. There's nothing wrong with it at all. So through knowledge, I was able to determine what works for me and what doesn't. And then I use my knowledge when, you know, working spells and navigating my way through this world. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video. I kind of talked quite a bit. Oh my gosh, wow, 20 minutes. All right. If you have any follow-up questions, just let me know and I will do my best to answer them. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye now.